Well, I started tinkering here with a project, and I thought, you know, it's probably something that should be filmed, because we dove into some of this last year, and then I just kind of walked away and abandoned it. So that's what we're going to do right now, right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man, and this is a good old Homelite XL-12, and this was a very revolutionary saw in its day, and the reason being is it was advertised, and I even think I have a little jingle here I can show you, but it was advertised as the world's lightest chainsaw. And there were ads in magazines and stuff showing somebody holding it up with one hand. And nowadays, when you go back and look, let me first put in that commercial. Let's see if I have it. I'll put it in here.
Homelite's done it again. They've brought you a brand new lightweight chainsaw called the Super XL-12. World's lightest direct drive chainsaw with super power, so handy and so small. You'd never dream at all that the Super XL-12 has so much power. Cuts a 10-inch oak in 10 seconds flat. Drops 4-foot trees just like that. Come in and see the brand new Homelite, the Super XL-12, world's lightest direct drive chainsaw with super power.
Only 12.5 pounds less bar and chain.
So that's a catchy little tune, right? But I realized while I was editing the video that I keep saying something in it and it's going to upset the true blue Homelite collectors, because a Super XL-12 is actually a hard saw to find, because that was only made for 1 year. So in the progression of things that exist, it started with this XL-12. See how it says XL-12 and the serial number tag says XL-12? That would have been first. Then there was like 1 year that they actually made one that said Super XL-12. It had an emblem kind of like this, a triangle-shaped emblem, and it said Super XL-12, and the serial number tag would say Super XL-12. And that's a hard saw to find. It'd be nice to find, but I don't have one. Then, after that one, they changed the name to just Super XL, no 12. And they made some big differences in the construction of the saw, namely the fact of moving the oil tank from underneath like it is on this old one to up here like it was pretty well till the end. This design is almost identical to the very later ones, and this one actually is an odd version or variant, I guess you'd say, because it is a manual oiler only, Super XL manual oiler. The next one after this was a Super XL automatic, and it was an automatic oiler, and it had a little bit different emblem on it too. So it basically went through 4 variants before it got to the design that lasted forever and ever. Let me get out another one here that we need to work on. The one that I grew up with here, Old Blue. It's growing some fungus or something. That's not good. We left it down here through the year. But this is a Super XL, SXL from the 90s. And you can see that it is virtually identical to the Super XL from the 60s. You know, the only difference being this one's automatic oiler. If we clean off all the... I'm really bummed that grew like almost like mold, I guess. But this one is more, it's got more plastic on it because, you know, modern stuff has plastic. That's the way life works. But what I'm saying is, once that version got the automatic oiler, they pretty well stayed the same till the end. But if you have saws and you're looking for parts, you need to know stuff like that, because that one is different from this one. I think the size of the motor's even different, but they made a lot of those XL-12s. That was the original 12-pound saw, you know. And, you know, it's stuck. The reason I think people call them Super XL-12s is, if you've ever heard that jingle, that sticks in your brain. That's cute, right? But I actually found a record that they would have played on the radio. I don't have the record, but I found it on YouTube, of the original version of the song about the XL-12. So I'll let you hear that. Hopefully that doesn't demonetize me. Otherwise, you'll just have to look it up yourself.
Homelight's done it again. They've made the world's lightest direct drive chainsaw. Homelight's done it again.
It's called the XL-12, a 12-pound chainsaw. Homelight's done it again.
Cuts a 12-inch log in just 10 seconds.
Drops 3-foot trees at your command.
The XL-12, as small as it is,
Puts big saw power in the palm of your hand.
Homelight's done it again with a new lightweight XL-12. XL-12.
But anyway, don't be mad at me, die-hard Homelite collectors, because it's easy to just keep saying Super XL-12 when that's not what it is. XL-12, then there was a Super XL-12, then Super XL automatic, and then they just became Super XLs after that, because they were pretty well all automatic oilers after that. You know, there's even, I could dig out, that is like one of the most common Homelite saws you see around. Here's a red one from probably the 80s or so. So you can see it's pretty well identical to everything else. So we have, yeah, once we got past the hump of those, you know, 1 or 2 year variant saws, then the design stayed the same pretty well till they quit making them. So, and actually in the when would it have been? 90, it would have been after this one, I think, because this would have been like 93 or 4 maybe when this came out, these tribute saws. There was an old blue, there were 3 or 4 variations that were blue like this, and there was one that was a big red. And then John Deere bought Homelite, and so I guess they still made homeowner saws, like, or for farm stores and stuff, but there was actually 2 versions of John Deere branded saw that was a Homelite, and I think the one that was the Super XL was like a 350. But anyway, maybe I'll find one of those one day. I've just been accumulating saws, but it's kind of neat to, like I said before, I could collect rocks if they were different enough. So there you go, a little more history for you. And forgive me in the video that you're watching if I keep calling it a Super XL-12, because it's not. The one we worked on is just an XL-12. So if you look back at that and you think, what's the deal? Well, you got to remember that back in those days, we didn't have stuff like this. This is all plastic for the most part. Saws back in those days were monsters. I mean, they were better than doing it by hand with a crosscut saw, but those things would make a man out of you. And I've got one right here I can show you. Just a minute, let me grab it and we'll compare and contrast. There's not even enough room on this thing to explain this, but this, my great-grandpa had one of these, or my great-great-grandpa, because my grandpa remembers using it when they first got it. And this is a monster. This is a 26 Homelite, and it's cool because it's one of the very first chainsaws laid out like this. There were a couple before, but anyway, they went from this to, unfortunately, this one that's all in pieces, the 420 saw. And the 420 saw was an improvement over this, but you got to look at how how much of an improvement this XL-12 was over that thing, because this would kill you. Grandpa said this was a killer all day, and of course he was the one that got elected to use it because he was a kid and his grandpa had bought it, and it was more than a normal guy could. I mean, it was hard on those old fellers who logged with them all day and stuff. Now the cool thing about this 26 saw compared to the later ones like the 420, they did not have a way figured out to be able to run a carburetor at all different angles. So if you wanted to, I'm gonna get this right now. Let me see here. I don't remember which button does it. Anyway, the carburetor turns so that if you were cutting down a tree, you keep the carburetor level. Let me see if I can. This thing is a monster, so it's really hard to see. It's not that, it's this. There we go. And my fuel line just ripped through, so that's great. But now you turn the handle, the carburetor and all, and now you cut down a tree, and then your carburetor is a float bowl carburetor like on a tractor, and you could cut this away with it. But look at this monster. I mean, this thing hammering on you. I mean, this is some serious horsepower for a person to hold. I haven't had this one apart yet, but I'm sure it's got a piston the size of a soup can. I mean, and then when you wanted to do your bucking of logs, you'd turn the saw, turn your handle back up like this, and then you'd cut with it like this. So that sucker is a monster. I want to get that one running one day too and mess with it, because they're cool. It shares a lot of the same similarities like the 420 one that we've been working on, as far as the way the construction is, the fuel tank made, the gear drive, and then see that one XL-12 was a direct drive saw, and that was a little bit of a new concept too, because here these saws were gear reduction, and they would cut all day long, but they cut slow, and they just cut and cut and cut, and you had to sit there and hold them the whole time it's vibrating and go. And yeah, after a while you probably weren't feeling your arms or your legs anymore because you were totally numb. And pretty well done. Here's your oiler. Every so often give your chain a shot of oil and keep going. And just go and go and go. I thought when I bought this one they said it was stuck, but then I thought I got it loose. Maybe not. Maybe it's still stuck. Must still be stuck. I don't know what happened to the one that great grandpa had. I have the book for it, but I do not have the saw. So Grandpa thought maybe it got traded. Maybe it got traded in on that 420 saw, but he cut a lot of wood with that one. And this one was, I guess, a cantankerous piece of trash in the long run. But nobody'd ever really done stuff like this before. And I like these old Homelites and stuff. And if you read up on their history, it's kind of interesting. They started with an electric saw. And I've seen one. I tried to buy it, but the guy he wanted way more than it was worth. And basically what you did is you run a generator, and then it had a cord, and you plugged in your electric saw, and you sawed with it, and then whatever. And then they went to, I was thinking there was one between this one and the electric saw. There was another model, and then this 26 saw, and then they went into those 420 saws, and like I think 620s maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't have all the models, but it's just been something where when I see one that I like, I buy it, because they're usually not that much money, and they're kind of cool from the olden times. So anyway, I found this nice bar somewhere. It didn't come with the saw, but that's pretty snazzy. It has that hole on the end. They made a handle attachment so you could use it as a two-man saw. I mean, these things are, you can't get that on camera, but it's heavy. I mean, it's noticeably more heavy than your modern saws, a lot, and way more heavy than that. So that being 12 pounds was a super duper invention, and I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. Let me put this one away. All right, so Yeah, look how you can lift that with one hand. My uncle actually bought one of these brand new, and he was probably I don't know, he was probably a teenager or so, I would say, because when he was living at home then, you know, Grandpa had moved out, so it was his job to cut wood. And I don't know if they were still using that 420 saw or they had another one similar. I want to say that he said they had another one that was kind of similar to that, but anyway, it was just killing them. I mean, it was no, I mean, when you're used to cutting the wood by hand, yeah, that's hard work, but it's not the same as monstrous vibration from these gigantic saws. So anyway, he saw the ad in one of the farm magazines with the guy holding up this saw, and he thought, we got to have that. So I don't know if he talked to his mom, and then I don't know if his grandpa was in on that or his grandma, and they said, if you cut with the saw, we'll pay for it. So they got one, and he cut wood with that, and he said, boy, he loved that when they got that, you know. So that was something. But anyway, just interesting stories about stuff. So this is a XL-12, and we got this last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I managed to buy like 4 or 5 Homelite saws at an auction for just next to nothing. And I got the one of them running, and I was messing with that one a while ago, and I can't keep it running, so I think it needs some fresh gas. I took it out and I cut like 1 tank of fuel through it, and that was it. So then I picked up this one, and right away it has ratcheting problems. We're going to have to sort that out. I don't know what that is. And I tried to start it and nothing, and I pulled the spark plug and there's no spark. And that got me to thinking, I don't think I ever messed with this one. I think I had I got to the same point last time where I checked, we had no spark, and then I thought what to do, and then I just abandoned ship. So I think now I kind of want to dive into it and see what, I would say what it needs is the points cleaned, you know, as well as everything else here, because this is horrendous. But another interesting thing about this is the spark plug is, look at how that's made. It's a different style. I think it's an 8J, but it's a different sort of thing. And so I'd like to kind of keep it that way if possible, just because I'm not going to go out and seriously start, you know, deforesting a whole piece of property with this. I think it's a neat thing, and I want to see what we got here. But I would say that my trouble is in here, and my points are probably nasty. Boy, they are black. So the first thing we're going to do then is we are going to clean up sand on those points, and then we really need to clean this whole area up, because this is just unacceptable. And it's kind of late at night now, and I'm kind of out of steam, but I thought I better start getting some footage of where I was so far, so that, you know, I never know when I have time to film, and if I can get a few minutes here and a few minutes there, why, that'll make you a video eventually. We're going to have to see what we got going here, because that should be our wire from our points. You know, if that's got a bad place in it, then that's grounding out, and that's why we're not going to get any fire either. But I would say our biggest issue is crud, and also, you know, the points needing stuff. And we just need to clean up on saws. When you take a saw apart, clean it up as best you can, because that'll make it last longer. It's got to get its cooling by air blowing through here, and if it's full of this trash, there's not going to be a lot of air that blows through. So, anywho's, we're going to clean up and see what we can get on this. I need to get that one viewer, who was it? Robert and Linda, when they came from out west to that show, one thing she gave me was a bunch of those emery boards for this very reason. And And I remember putting them in a bag so I didn't lose them. And guess what? I don't remember where I put the bag. So I'm gonna have to do better, I guess, here. We need to... Am I on the high spot of that or the low spot? It would probably be easier if I was on the... I don't really want to grip it with a vice grip, but let me see if I can just gingerly coax this into a different position. All I got to do is kind of hook that key and roll it around. Boy, there's a lot of crud on those things. I ain't got no gas in it, you know. We might have to go hunting for those things, because there is just no room in here to do this. And I could... Oh, man. Oh, well. I'm hoping that this is all that's wrong with it, because I don't know. I'm sure I could probably adapt a modern coil in, because basically these Super XLs they made for years and years with almost no deviation from design, you know. They updated the oiler to automatic and, you know, made some improvements like that, but I might be able to get a solid state coil that fits in it. If we can't make this go, but I'd sure like to make it go. I don't know that I'm doing a great job of it though. I think we're gonna go emery board style. I'm just gonna have to go figure out what I did. Maybe I guess I could go one side at a time style, and then I'd... Some viewer sent me this emery cloth too. So I'm trying to use the stuff you guys send. It's just a struggle sometimes, you know. I don't know what to do. Come on. Well, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. We're struggling. What a shocker, friends. This is the downfall to these old point saws. I mean, this is crap, having to take the flywheel off to sand the points, and then you're not sure you got it. Got to put it back on, pull it, got to basically put it back. I guess you could put a nut on it and turn it, but do you really want to do that? I'm gonna say that that's probably good. Time will tell. That's not right. I don't like that. You have to say that does a respectable job of keeping the trash out for just being a piece of tin held on with a little spring clip. But you know. Okay, that's on there. Now for the arduous task, friends. I have a lot of scraping. A lot of scraping we need to do, because this is no good, you know. It doesn't make any sense to put that back together, not even once, unless we make some attempt to clean this garbage off of there, because that's just going to cause us issues in the long run. And like I said, you need your air to circulate through here to keep the feller cool. Also, remember, I hate working on chainsaws, so do not start bringing them expecting me to work on them, because it ain't gonna happen. I'm doing this because it's kind of fun when it's not something that you have to use. And I've kind of got a collection of these Homelite saws that I'd like to take out and play with, you know, on a few cuts here, and then as soon as I get tired of it, I can set it to the side and be done and walk away. But I don't want to be a saw shop, you know. Alright, that's pretty darn clean. Like I said, though, we now have to, unfortunately, pretty well totally reassemble it and hope that we fixed it. I'm kind of confident that we did, but I don't know. I want to clean up the flywheel a little bit, wire wheel on those magnets, and then we'll put her back together. Oh, that was dumb. Something happened off camera that I'm not happy about. It's okay. Yeah, you friends, you're gonna have to refresh my memory, because you know the episodes better than I do. But I don't know what I did with this saw exactly. I thought we got to this point and then we never tried it, but did we ever have it running by accident? I don't remember. I don't think we did. I think we hit the brick wall on this. We got that other one running that, I don't know, it's off camera here. I think it's a Super XL. It's a little bit newer than this one, you know. I'm trying to keep everybody happy here. And by everybody, I mean myself. Okay. It's gonna go on there like this. I don't think that... Oh no, I guess that is right. I thought I had the wrong combination of stuff, but that one's a flat washer. That one's a split washer. And then this is a nut. Somehow these little pawl things are what makes it ratchet. And I was not having great luck with that either. Shoot, I don't have that socket thing in here, do I? I thought I had bought something to do that. Maybe that's where I was at. I was trying to find a way to get something where it would spin this so I could not have to fight it so bad, but I mean, I guess we might as well just put her all the way back together and see what happens. It's not that difficult. It's just the idea of, do you put it all back together and then take it all back apart again if it doesn't fix it, or you need to sand on them some more, or whatever you have to do. I don't know. Did we tighten that other thing all the way? My brain already shut off. I forgot. I'll try it one more time here in a minute before I put it together for keeps. Another thing I discovered taking it apart before I started recording is that I'm going to have to get some different hardware, because this one has one bolt that's not good. I had to really work to get it out. And then that other saw that we had running, it does not have the correct combination of bolts to hold the side cover on. So let's try this one. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but that's a small enough thing you could twist that off, so I don't want to do that. Now we got to clean up this mess. These covers always accumulate garbage on every saw ever, and it's so sad, you know. Look at all of that. Let's just carve that out of there. It's a mixture of sawdust and bar oil. and it's just practically like glue in some of the places, depending on if it's had time to dry out. I guess the consistency of the mixture, you know. Okay, we're nearing the time when we can put the cover on. I would love to just make that beautiful, but, and then like, I guess I go ahead and hook it up like for real, because if it works, I don't want to have to take it back apart. So I got to put on the grounding wire again, and then put this together. I got to get that in there somehow. There we go. Which it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't working great, so we're gonna have to figure that out. We're gonna have to figure out a new one of these, because that one wasn't any count. I was really struggle bussing on that one. And I guess, there we go. I got two maybe started. Now I gotta find that socket again, because I thought I had it here, but I think I put it away and switched to something else, because that's not, it should be 5/16. 5/16, where are you? 5/16. Here you are. Or not. What you want to do is just throw your ratchet away. Just throw it away every time. Just let it run into stuff. Then we'll try this one. Oh, that's not gonna work. Okay, cool. I don't remember what I just used a minute ago to take it apart. I thought I used this very setup, but I guess not. Maybe I can sneak in with this long extension? Question mark? Come on. Come on, baby doll. Here we go. There's that. Now, get that. I don't want to put that one back in, because I won't get it back out. So I'm gonna do the exact thing anyway that I said I wasn't. I'll turn it in with the screwdriver tight. And then I don't want to destroy that side cover, see? Now I need to get my table clear. And I think we're just gonna, instead of trying to run it, we're gonna just see if we manage to get us some some sparkage by pulling the plug out, and it'll be easier to crank over. What I'm saying is, you know, it's easier to crank it over fast if we don't have the spark plug in. Then we'll be able to see if things are really doing the thing. I mean, I would assume that the guy before me tried this already, and maybe I tried it, but it's awful dirty in there for me to have tried it. I would have done what I just did if I had it apart last year. Oh, we got great fire now, friends. Let me see if I can get you a view of that. Look at this. Does it show up on camera? Probably not. That sucker's gonna run. We're gonna have us XL-12. The world's lightest, most direct drive chainsaw. Now the only thing is I put fuel in it last year, and so it's full of old fuel. It's not gonna like that. I can tell you that now. But it's worth a go. I mean, let's see if it'll... I gotta remember the starting procedure. You do this, lock that, full choke. Look at that. What a beauty, friends. It fired right up. Now we need to just make sure it's actually oiling and all that stuff. We got us a XL-12 that we can probably take out and cut, because last year one of the things I did was, first thing I did was get bars and chains for all of them so that they have the potential to cut, and then even made some improvements, put the bucking spikes on if they didn't have them. So that sucker's going to cut some wood. I just now need to, like I said, I don't remember where, oh, they're down here on these. Oil. We need to put some oil in it, and then make sure the oiler is working, because it's a Manuel style oiler, you know. There we go. And we're gonna struggle. Oh, it's got oil in it. That's what they all say, right? They got oil in it. Ran when parked. Ran when parked. That muffler is super loud. You know. It's not going to take much. I will overflow this. I always do. On every saw ever. I can't see the... Let's stuff with that. Am I going to make it? Oh. Wow. That's really summertime oil, but that's okay. It's inside here. We don't have to cut with it till summer if we don't want to. That's awesome though. I'm sure I didn't, I don't know. Did I have it running? We'll have to look back at the videos and see. Maybe I had it running once before. I don't know. But definitely what I did today did not hurt it. There we go. Probably just enough to let it leak out all over the floor too. Sure. See, I feel like my oiler is not there. It is oiling. Good. Good deal. Good deal. I want to hear it running. Will it run again? Let's see here. Oh yeah. She's a beaut, Clark. So lovely, friends. Lovely. All I had to do is make a total mess, you know, like usual. But we got her to go. And these things are just practically indestructible, friends. I mean, they just run and run and run. They just give. Now, they are heavier than the modern saws, so sometimes it is kind of, you're like, hey, I'm tired of it now. That was fun to go down memory lane for a little bit, but it ain't nothing like the modern saws. But the reliability of them is what I like. I mean, I grew up with these saws, you know. We got old blue in pieces down here we need to fix. I got a new cylinder head and everything to put in it, and we can make it go. But the XL-12 is now a runner again, and we can take it out and cut wood. So that's going to be fun, you know, for about 5 minutes, and then I'll switch to the modern one. But until that time, we're going to leave this one here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.